Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Bottleneck Diagnosis Socratic Dialogue. Now, when you look at Eliyahu Goldratt's theory of constraints, which is one of the most interesting theories in case you're interested in, productivity, and if you're working in manufacturing, earlier it was used extensively perhaps in manufacturing, but today across industries you can apply Eliyahu Goldratt's theory of constraints and you can get a lot of productivity in what you do. And who wouldn't want productivity? Wouldn't you want to finish your work on time, go outside, party hard after completing your deliverables within limited time? So people deserve to have efficiency as a way of life, right? So that's exactly why we have this Socratic dialogue today, to explore one aspect of TOC, which is how do you spot the constraint and exploit the constraint to improve the productivity within your project, right? And a very interesting aspect is the constraint always keeps changing. Today, one part of your process could be a constraint, and tomorrow something else could be a constraint, and it's always changing. So how do you keep diagnosing what the constraint is and keep paying attention to whichever process ends up being constraint at the time? So we have student unicorns from 3 different organizations. Deep thought isn't enough of a mess all the time, so I'm sure there could be interesting use cases that people could bring in. We have 2 student unicorns from Creative Organics. So while you're applying TOC in the context of Creative Organics, I think today you have examples from data science, but I think going forward would be very exciting to apply it in the plant and see how the productivity can be improved at the plant, especially Balaji is being a project manager there. And we have Mir Shafiq from Gropital. Lots of farming being done across the country. I'm sure there's plenty of scope for optimization everywhere, and hopefully some use cases come in. And Devmita from Kringle, talking of customer loyalty and rewards. Curious to see how TOC could come in there. So on that note, I would love to start the program once you guys go in with your intros. So please go ahead, introduce yourself, tell us what you do at your company. And
hi. My name is Anuraj, and I worked at Deep Thought as a growth hacker. Thank you.
Thank you, Anuraj. Who's going next?
Hello guys, my name is Balaji. I work as a TPM for Creative Organics.
Could you just elaborate on what is TPM?
Yeah. I'm working as a technical project manager for Creative Organics.
Thank you, Balaji. Yeah, who's going next?
Hi, my name is Mir Shafiq. I'm a backend intern at Grouptel.
Welcome, Shafiq. Who's going next?
Hello everyone.
Okay, one can go in.
Hello everyone. This is Aisha Mehrush. I'm a student unicorn from Deep Thought and a data science intern from Creative Organics.
Thank you, Aisha.
Yeah, I'm Logu. I'm a front-end developer at Deep Thought. Thank you.
Welcome, Logu. Who's going next?
Hi, I'm Purnima and I'm a front-end developer at Deep Thought.
Yeah, thank you, Purnima.
Hi, I am Devmita Chatterjee. I am intern content writer in Kringle.
Yeah, welcome, Devmita. Who's going next?
Hi, I'm Riddhi. I am Learning and Development Research Fellow at Deep Thought.
Yeah, welcome, Riddhi. So, hope we all have a great discussion today, and hope everybody who's tuning in live gets some interesting pointers to implement within projects. So, I'd like to listen to any 3 responses on, according to you, what's a bottleneck? Yeah, Logo, please go ahead.
Yeah, bottleneck is about when you are giving 100% or 200% of your effort, but you are getting the outcomes in the short. The outcome is very short. Like you are getting the outcome for 10 to 20% only. That is the bottleneck that you have to resolve it, in my perspective.
Okay, no, wait, hold on a sec. So we're talking of bottleneck for a process, right? You're running a process to do something. What's a bottleneck?
Can I?
Yeah, Nuraj.
So any resistance that limits the flow will be a bottleneck.
Any resistance that limits the flow. Fantastic. But can you tell in a company context, in a project context, what's that resistance and what is that flow?
Okay, so like I am working on a project, like we have a funnel to acquire more students. I work on the acquisition part. So we have a funnel setup. So like inflow sometimes can act as a constraint. Like low number of people.
ignoring your project and ignoring deep thought for a while, what is that resistance and what is flow? In a company context, what is flow? Or what is resistance?
A broken system can be resistance.
Okay. Something which is stopping you from getting your results out of your effort. You're putting effort in a lot of things, but there's one thing which is going very slow, and because that project is going slow, the other projects which depend on this project also
Get delayed because of that.
So you could say a bottleneck is a project or a submodule of a project. One small part of your project where everything is getting stuck.
Yes.
Yes.
Anyone else?
Okay, I can go ahead.
Yeah, Shafiq.
Yes. So I would define bottleneck as something that slows the entire process down, some variable in some process. For example, in case of software, if you have a software development lifecycle and some process is slowing everything else down, so that's what I would call a bottleneck.
Okay. Anyone else wants to add something?
Like it is the area bottleneck is the area which requires the improvement, which if improvement happens, it's when the effectiveness of the project improves and the deliverables increases. It is the thing which is hampering the overall workflow. If we could fix the area properly, we could achieve better and deliver better.
Okay.
Also, this consumes a lot of time, like the time we have fixed for one project, and we are not working on this bottleneck, so it will drain our all time and we won't be productive.
Okay, I have some questions. Let's play a nice quiz here. So my question is, let's say you have a process A, and process A is the slowest process in your entire system. So is process A necessarily the bottleneck?
Can you just repeat the question again?
So your system has, let's say, 20 processes, okay? Or 26 processes from process A to process Z. So process A is the slowest of all the processes for you. So is process A necessarily the bottleneck in your system?
No, it'll be a part of the entire process, which makes it slow.
Okay.
Okay. So I think, yeah, it may not be necessarily that. It may be some other part of the process. Something, for example, sorry.
Why not?
So for example, if you have process B and process A, so if you think process B is the bottleneck, so process B is going the slowest. So it may not necessarily be the bottleneck. For example, if process A is feeding the process B, so process A may be slower. So it may not be.
Process A is slower. Process B is the slowest, no?
No, process. Okay, sorry. So process B is the slowest. Maybe process. So the process behind it, so in front of it, is not at its like optimal capacity. So that's the reason why the process B is the slowest. Hence, the process A is the bottleneck, not the process B.
But process A is faster than process B in your example, no?
Yeah.
So why are you calling A the bottleneck? Shouldn't it be B then, because it's going slowest?
Not necessarily the A be the slowest, could be the bottleneck. Maybe A can be put as a quality check.
Exactly. I mean, we can see from the output, like instead of analyzing the process from in this way, if it is slow, it will be a bottleneck, or if it is a fast, it will be a bottleneck or not. But we can check in the outcome, and then it will be easier to understand what is the bottleneck, which process is the bottleneck.
Okay. Anyone else?
How would you? Sorry.
I would like to pitch one thing. If process A is the slowest one, so can there be a scenario where process A takes more time but like all the other processes are faster. So in that scenario, would like process A be the bottleneck?
Can you go over this again?
So we are talking if process A is the slowest, so is it necessarily the bottleneck? But there can be a scenario now where let's say process A takes more time because it's like complex and all other processes are easy. So all other processes are being done in less time. So in that scenario, will we consider process A as a bottleneck?
So then according to you, what is bottleneck?
Like bottleneck is a constraint that reduces your goals and like not let you achieve the outcome.
Okay, so this is for whatever reason, whether it is complexity or anything, it is not letting you achieve your outcome. No, it's being slowest, right?
Okay, yeah.
Like if in an overall process, if there is a complexity, there should be complexity at a certain part, which doesn't have necessarily need to be the overall process. If you could understand the complexity or the drawback at which place it's happening, that's where we could find, we could explore more and reduce the complexity and make it much effective. That is when the process will also match with the other processes that which is given the proper output.
So my question is, if it is slow, if it is slowest, can some other process be a bottleneck?
Yes, possible.
If this process is dependent on some other process, then yes.
But the other process will definitely be faster than this process, no? Because I said this is the slowest. Even if it is not slowest, is it possible that somebody else is slowing the overall system more than this flow? Okay. Okay, let's humanize this. Let's humanize this a bit. Let's say it's a, sorry to cut you short, Deepika, sorry. You can come in with this example maybe. So let's say all of you are working as a team and you're producing some output, right? Let's say you're making a cake. You're making a New Year cake, all of you. Now, let's say the slowest link in this entire team is me. Okay. Is it possible that even though I'm the slowest link in the entire team, logo is the bottleneck?
Yeah, can be.
Yeah, it is possible.
How?
Maybe
Even though the
logo.
cake, okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Good.
No, even though you are the slowest, logo may have the cake which is not tasting well, which is not.
No, we all are together making a cake. That's what the system is. No. Let's say I make the cream, you get the cherries and all of that. Someone bakes the bread, someone does the decoration on top and so on. So different people, all of us are working together as a system to make the cake.
So yeah, for example, you are baking the cake and it takes 2-3 hours to bake a cake. Let's assume. And you are the slowest, but logo is the bottleneck. How? What if logo doesn't acquire the raw material of the cake? Whole process stops.
No, but he's going faster than me, no? Whatever work he's supposed to do, I told you that he's doing faster than me.
But what if the quality is not, up to our standards or something like
Now
that?
we're not judging with quality, now we're judging with speed, right? Achha,
He's
okay, that's a valid point. Yeah, Shafi, go ahead.
If he's the fastest, isn't he slowing everything else down?
Okay, how? Yeah, good point. How?
Because like everybody has to wait, like not wait. I guess. Okay, I cannot articulate this properly, but
Like he could be going the fastest way, but there is nothing like he's going in the right way. He could be the fastest, but it is not defined that he is going the right way.
What happens if he's not going in the right way?
If he is not going the right way, he has to reiterate many times to achieve the correct point, which makes him the bottleneck.
Then he's slowest, no?
Tarun?
Then he's slowest, no?
So
Because fast or slow, how are you defining? In 1 month, how many pieces is he sending out from his end? So if it needs rework and his pieces are rejected, then he's slowest, no?
Yeah.
Can I say something like?
Yeah.
I'm slow at delivering the pieces, but I was fast at making that rejecting pieces.
No, I'm saying if I define speed in terms of number of selected pieces delivered per month.
Then I was slow.
I'm slowest now. I'm telling you, as per this ratio, I'm slowest. Is it possible that you're the bottleneck, even though I'm slowest?
The quality will come into picture, right? Like even if
No,
he's
quality check is done. Number of pieces cleared is what I'm counting.
Can we
One.
take this perspective into consideration? Like if suppose logo is the fastest one, but other members of his team are unable to match up to his speed and all of them are not able to perform. So
That's
it
okay.
is
That's okay. Give him a break. Ask him to take extra holidays and come.
Then I have one question.
Hmm.
Then how can I be a bottleneck?
Exactly. I'm asking, can you have a scenario where if I'm the slowest, still logo is the bottleneck? A small hint is, think of your 10th class physics class, electricity, circuits. Let's say I'm the slowest at baking cakes and I make cakes. I mean, let's say the main base of the cake. I'm the slowest and I make the base of the cake. And logo, let's say he puts the cream and is super fast. Is it still possible that logo is the bottleneck? I give you the example, 10th class physics, electricity, circuits. Okay, let me give you one more hint. Types of circuits. If you have 3 resistors, does it mean that the overall resistance is very high?
No.
Okay, so if you have 3 resistors, one of 100 ohms, one of 10 ohms, and one of 20 ohms, can you do something to make sure that the 100 ohms doesn't increase the resistance of the entire circuit?
But without that, if the basic part is getting delayed, how he will?
Think in terms of the hint. If you have a 100 ohm resistor, how will you put it in a circuit if you want to reduce the resistance?
I will put the resistor at the last of the series of resistor by putting the 10
Then
ohm
the
and
total resistance is 100 plus 10 plus 20, it is 130 ohms.
Then it's a parallel.
What? Sorry?
Then
The
it's in
parallel
parallel.
circuit.
Parallel circuit, right? See, what is parallel circuit? There's a traffic jam in one road, you'll go through other road.
Yeah.
Right? So in a nutshell, it's that way, and you can remember the derivation also why you'll get 1 by R1 cancel, right? Because the voltage is the same. And yeah. Now, potential drop is the same.
But if
If you go back to
someone-
the example, I am the slowest. So how do you short me?
for the slowest, Tarun, and everyone, I mean, the outcome is already.
I'm slowest, but can you short me?
No, I'm saying like if you are slowest, but the outcome is already equated in a way that it is happening, the cake is being served in the market properly. Then it is already we have decided कि हाँ cake हमारे पास बहुत अच्छे से
Okay, so
stored
what you're telling me is I'm slowest, but then the other people are given more and more tasks, so my task is limited. That's what she meant by equated, right? I don't get too much of tasks to do. Even though I'm slow, I don't get too much of tasks to do. Others get more tasks. It's possible. What could be the other scenario? Maybe Anuraj and Balaji are also baking cakes and they bake faster. So even if I'm slow, they are catching up. And maybe Logu is the only one who's putting the cream. He's super fast, but there's so many other people who are making cakes or doing other things. He's the only fellow putting the cream. So he's the bottleneck.
yes.
possible.
So what is the bottleneck then?
Here the input, the work input he is getting is been low. He is fast, but the input for him to proceed his
No,
work
his
is slow.
input is fast. He is not able to deliver that quickly.
My input, I'm getting the inputs, lot of inputs I'm getting, but I can't deliver the outcomes because I'm getting lot of care. My ratio, input output ratio is input is high, my output is very low. So I would be a bottleneck.
Your output could be high. Your output could be high. You're not just looking at input to output ratio. You're looking at how much time it takes for you to generate that output out of that input. So then your bottleneck is the place where a lot of input is getting clogged, right?
Okay, so we can put Lagu in that way. I mean, if he is only doing that cream decoration, then we can ask him to, learn to create the base cake also, and that way it will be more productive. I mean, our more team member can join in creating base cake because
Exactly.
that is the
More team members could join him in the cream.
okay.
More team members could join him in adding the cream, right? So now what if you add 2 more members to add the cream and it gets fast? What will happen to the bottleneck?
The bottleneck will be brown and the process will be fast. And
So you mean to say now there'll be no bottleneck?
in the process of putting the cream, I won't be here. I'm not the bottleneck.
You are not the bottleneck. Then
Something else will be there. Like then
then
I think the
what do you do?
pressure will come to the base, like making the base of the cake.
Then, yeah, it might be possible
No,
that we are running out of
three of us, we're three of us, we are going at a good pace.
So the base is there, the cream also, then there's no bottleneck in
The delivery person will be slow.
yeah.
So
Maybe
some other process it could have shifted, no?
yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
So then what do you keep doing as a plant manager then or a project manager?
Keep
You
repeating
keep
it.
identifying the bottleneck and try to remove it, because like some bottleneck will always be there, right?
In every stages, we will have a bottleneck.
Okay.
You solve one bottleneck. If it's resolved, then you repeat the process to find another bottleneck if there is something.
Okay. Shafiq, you were going to say something? Same thing.
Yeah, that's
Okay, so you're saying you'll continuously identify the bottlenecks. So now the question is, how do you identify the bottleneck? Because you know it's not the slowest process.
Like we need to analyze where we are going wrong. Why? We need to identify it by analyzing our entire process.
Like by tracking, we can understand when in a process, many departments will come under in the process. So when in a department, when we track things, we can know where exactly
How will you track and what number will you look at?
Tarun?
How will you track? See, when you say a sentence that I will track, how will you track? What will you do exactly?
Yeah, like consider I have three departments. From first department, the first department is completing work on time and they're providing the deliverables to the second department, and it has to be passed on to the third department, where in the second department the time taking is so much. I mean, the number of deliverables they are giving are so slow, so the overall output is being hampered. So in this scenario, when I see the details, it is at the work department 2 where it is being, they are providing the less number of deliverables.
Okay.
Where they have the input, but the output from the department is so slow. So at this point, I will try to understand what's happening. First, I will try to optimize by taking away the load. Like the prior checks that coming to the department and the in late checks by offloading little works to the work department 1, work department 3, and while moving further, I try to make sure they have enough inputs, to work on, well, and make sure the other non-constraints have enough inputs and works. And much further, in the process, I will try, as I got to know it's the place where they're lagging, I will try to review and see if there has to be any upgrades, or if there has to be any persons included, or any system work is required, or in sometimes there could be extra setups or things that would be making the process slow. Like instead of two-step process, then in some situations there could be a long processes which would be delaying the process. So the reduction could be reducing the steps to make sure to achieve the task would help to improve the task, improve the work output.
Okay, anyone else?
I think tracking the key results maybe help in finding the bottleneck
How?
that we have set for the objective.
No, you know your overall output. You're tracking your overall output, but how do you know where you're going slow? Which system is slowing the whole process down?
It will be like, yeah, Anuraj, I mean, you can go also.
So we can track the key results that we have set up in the process.
Oh, let's say that output is being tracked, all right. You know that, okay, you're getting 30 units of cakes per hour. You're getting 30 cakes per hour. You're tracking that. But how do you find out which piece is the bottleneck? Which piece is going slow?
So suppose we have 10 departments, and I will analyze if all my, every department is working in aligned form, like I will check if one part of it, even it is not working, then the error is there, and we can,
You'd want to look at if that particular process, if the output there increases a bit, you analyze how that output will increase. I mean, across the network, what will be the impact, and see which part of my process would lead to maximum increase in everything else. Then you know that's your bottleneck. Okay. Now let's say you've identified a bottleneck. So is your only solution to increase the number of people who work on that bottleneck?
No, because that will that can create a cost problem as well. But we
Forget
can.
the cost problem. I'm saying is your only solution to increase the number of people.
We can manage within the departments as well.
No, that's right. Even if you manage through department, are you saying that other department people, you will put more people on this? Is increasing the number of people your only solution? Yeah, Aisha.
No. Improving the quality of work would be the other solution.
How would improving quality of work solve this problem?
Like when we constantly look into our deliverables and our KPIs that we are focusing on in day-to-day tasks, we can analyze that and try to improve it by the terms of speed and also by the terms of.
You're going to try and figure out a way to improve the productivity in that team.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Shafiq.
You could try providing that bottleneck less input. It would be the same thing as getting more people, right?
Okay, like, you'll slow all the other guys down.
Yeah.
Okay, but what if you're not happy with the overall output? You're not happy with the 30 cakes per hour. But it's a very valid suggestion, huh? If you're happy with the 30 cakes per hour you're getting, you probably don't want to be doing anything to the bottleneck. You probably want to slow down all the other things and move the people to some other process. Okay, but what if you're not happy with the 30? What if you want 40 cakes per hour?
I guess exploiting the bottleneck would be the first, even before you think about getting more people. So you would like get to know the ins and outs of the bottleneck, how it works. Maybe we can add some feature that will solve without getting more people.
Right. So there could be something which is choking it, right? You could realize that there's some problem there, right? That people don't have the tools to do their work, or people are being stopped by some obstacles. Okay. Now I have a simple question. Let us say Shafiq was talking about software development cycle and bottleneck analysis there. Let's say your UI team is your bottleneck. The front end team is waiting for the UI team because the UI is not ready. The back end team is waiting for the UI team because they do not know how the product is going to look like. And the whole project has got slowed down. You're the project manager. What do you do?
Okay, so first I have identified the bottleneck, right? It's the UI.
Yeah.
So then I guess I would make sure they have the correct tools. There are the proper people are set in place. Maybe we need more people. Maybe we need more money. We need more cost. We need more people.
Let's say it's not number of people. I just need time.
So, I mean, so here we have UI as the problem. Front end and back end are that they're working properly, right? So
There's a dependency on the UI.
that's the dependency. So what if we tell them that maybe front end and back end can brainstorm and they can come up with something
Sure, but apart
which can help the UI? Like you had given this example earlier, right? Where your content writers were not getting enough ideas and you told the developers to think of something, and then the copywriters, they saw the poster and they got ideas. So
It's a good suggestion that your front end back end could give ideas for UI. Apart from that, what else can you do? Yeah, logo.
Yeah. Question to Riddhi, like if front end and back end developers are thinking of the UI, then we are using more resources, right? Then we are adding more people from the one department into the UI department now. How it would be a solution?
It's a good solution, but it's a costly solution. Good point, Logo.
Tarun, if we could, if we could see through what are the procedures they are following, and what if we could improve the procedures?
What if they're taking time because this UI needs to be really, really great, and they're trying to craft all that little details, and that's why they're going slow. They'll submit the UI only 15 days later. They'll submit it 15 days later, but they'll submit it 15 days later. The front end and back end teams are sitting idle. What do you do?
So they're sitting idly, right? So
If it is certain that the UI people will deliver it 15 days and you can't do anything about it, won't you would want to put front end and back end people on some other project?
Do the front end guys really need the UI to start?
I would say no, they just need an idea they can create without the wireframes. Yeah.
So, no. Are we talking about wireframes or UI?
Sorry, no, the UI. Yeah, sorry, I used the wrong word. The UI, yeah. They can go without it.
But your wrong word is a hint here.
Okay. Can we use wireframes to go to the front end screen? Yeah, that is possible.
In most of the times you start with the wireframes itself, right? Do you wait for the UI?
Yeah. Not really, because the functionality is defined in the wireframes most of the times, yeah.
So what does a front end team work on? The functionality?
Yeah.
When they say UI, I will enter the CSS or all the changes. Later when you get it to me, I'll change it.
Yeah.
How much time will it take to change the UI anyway?
Not much time.
Right click on Figma, copy style, come here, paste. Right click, copy, paste. Done, no?
Yeah.
Once you get the UI, so you work on the functionality on front end. Now let's say, and what will your back end team work on? They don't give a damn to your UI, right? Which color? Which
they can create the data models and stuff like that without the UI, I think.
If you talk to Mir Shafiq, does he give a damn to which color is there on the front end and which font is there?
Yeah, there doesn't need not UI to work on it.
Backend just doesn't care about the UI, right? Give me wireframes, I'm done. Am I right? Shafiq?
I think backend couldn't even start without the wireframes as well. I mean, they just need an idea, right? A feature.
Exactly. Your basic documentation of the project, good enough.
Yeah.
What data are you collecting? What is going to come there so that you can start thinking of your data models accordingly. So you understand this is how when you're understanding that something could be a bottleneck, you could maybe realign the process itself so that it's no longer a bottleneck. You get what I mean by realign the process, right? Change the order and change the way the pieces are arranged so that it's no longer a bottleneck. Okay. So one solution is to put more people. One solution is to see why they're getting stuck and maybe help them. One solution is to maybe just realign the process itself. Now, let's move to the, let's try and figure out other ways of diagnosing, right? Let us say you have a very good front-end developer. The person is usually very good, but this person is slowing the process down. What would you investigate to see why this person is slowing the process down?
So he's really good.
He's always historically always delivered on time.
Okay, maybe there's too many people providing him the input that he needs to process.
Brilliant. You'd want to check if people are confusing him or her. Okay. Brilliant. Anything else we would want to look at?
He might don't have the proper clarity on the product which he is going to make.
Okay. Brief clarity or too many people trying to give a brief. Okay. Anything else?
Does he have the resources proper?
Correct. Does the person have a proper resource? Is the person's machine working fine? Is the person having a stable internet connection or something? Is something else disturbing that person? So,
Like
yeah, Balaji.
The
yeah,
premium platform.
we can also know if he is struggling with any of his personal health issues or
Correct. So the person could be having personal problems or health problems or something. So, yeah, Aisha, you were saying something?
Yeah, maybe the other team members are unable to understand what he wants to show. Like maybe they are not understanding his point of view.
There could be some differences in the team, which coordination issues in the team or alignment issues in the team. Fair enough. But fundamentally, I'll tell you one principle. If you're seeing something unusual, there is something unusual there. Dig it up. You get what I mean? What did you understand?
The normal activity of the person is to perform well, but if he is not performing well, there must be a valid reason behind it. So we need to find out the reason behind that.
Fair enough, but I'm saying there must be something which is going unusual. Look at what is going different this time.
The detail.
For which conditions have changed.
like the process which he used to follow regularly maybe have changed due to a person's unavailable resources or persons to look at the work.
Balaji, I'm giving you a very general heuristic. A very general heuristic is, if this is unusual, unusual means this is not what happens every time, right? Look at what conditions have changed.
You compare it to when it was working fine.
Exactly. Do you see any differences in the conditions? Who was his manager then? Who was the manager? Who is the manager now? Did the person's laptop change? Did the person's work location change? Did anything else change in the company from then to now? Because you could get your hints from there. What conditions changed? The availability of people, resources, the brief, the type of brief.
Deep analysis.
No, you might say deep analysis, but what I'm saying is a method is look at which all conditions were there then and what conditions are there now. And if you can find any difference in the conditions.
And what if we don't find any difference? Like the leadership is same, the resources are thing, and
so which means all external things are the same. Then you would want to dig up internally what went wrong. And you might also want to check the nature of the project, right? Is the nature of the project the same? Is the type of the project changing? What if this person is typically good at projects with minimalistic UI, but this UI has too many elements, and let's say this UI has a lot of animations and the person is not able to handle the animations. Then in the project, there's something which changed. Yeah, Logo.
Yeah, the person might got a new technology to work on.
Correct. So that's again the condition which has changed, no?
Yes.
What if nothing has changed? He just doesn't care for it anymore, the same way he did before.
Then something internal could have changed, no?
Yeah.
So the point is, Mir Shafiq, thinking of conditions where nothing has changed is like that's like super rare, right? Because things are so dynamic, things always change. So it's a very rare state that in two situations you're having the same condition.
Exact same, yeah.
It's a very rare condition that two things are exactly the same.
Internal means what you are saying by internal.
That person's mental health, that person's approach, that person's confidence levels. So the externally everything is the same, but that person internally, how that person is receiving, how that person is doing could have changed. No.
Okay.
See, there's no one correct answer to this, right? If there was one correct answer, you codify that answer into an AI, all human jobs can be removed, AI will do it.
Yeah.
Humans are needed because there's no one correct answer, and you probably have to do some thinking to figure out what works in the setup, the situation. But we just explored various heuristics. Okay. So now before we conclude, I'd love to listen to all of you. What are your takeaways from the dialogue today?
May
Sure, Logu.
Yeah, my misconception on bottleneck get cleared now.
Okay.
There could be multiple reasons, and not to chase for only one, like finding only one reason to solve, which will take our all energy.
The bottleneck may necessarily not be the slowest one in the process. Maybe he's the fastest.
Especially if that process has a support process where you have two different feeders for the same thing. So even if one feeder is slow, the other feeder is coping up, catching up with it. Yeah. Thank you, Shafiq. Yeah, Logu.
Yeah, and it is not only one solution to rid of the bottleneck. It might the bottleneck is not only the problem. The others also could be a problem here.
Okay. Who's going next?
I'll go. So I think like my key takeaways, since bottlenecks keep changing, our approach to solving those bottlenecks should also keep changing.
Maybe, but main thing is to keep looking for, okay, what's now our bottleneck?
Yeah, right.
So like, I have one question. So everything is running fine. I'm getting my 30 gigs per hour or whatever the result I have set. So how to, can I experiment to find a new bottleneck? Like I add a new element to the process and check where the output increase and where the output decreases.
Okay, simple question. I mean, just adding on to your question, Anugraj. If I'm getting my 30 kx per hour and my target was 25 kx per hour, do I use TOC?
No. I guess not. No.
What if I can make it more efficient and remove half the employees on this project and put them somewhere else?
Yes.
So would you ever have a situation where you don't need the TOC? There's always scope for optimizing the system, right?
Yes.
Then most companies wouldn't do that.
What if we can reduce the cost of the making the cake? I'm getting my cakes, 30 cakes, and I use the TOC, and what if that reduce the cost of the, making the cake?
Brilliant. So yeah, brilliant. So now you did this entire analysis from the point of view of time, right?
Yes.
What if you do TOC from the point of view of cost? Or what if you do TOC from the point of view of of ecological impact? Like for creative organics, you're a pharmaceutical company. Look at how can I reduce the ecological impact by seeing the dangerous chemicals which are used. How can I reduce that? The constraint, I mean, the point of view from which I do it, I could change, right?
Yes.
And as I keep optimizing it, you bring efficiency, right? So a lot of companies don't look for efficiency as a way of life. In manufacturing, yeah, we're probably always looking for efficiency. So, but
Like,
if you can imbibe efficiency as a way of life, it's fantastic, right? You're always looking for, doing something to the constraint. And sometimes while hitting that constraint, you might end up with a breakthrough innovation where you're changing the way in which something happens in your industry itself. You might come up with a radical idea.
possible.
So, yeah, anybody else wants to share your takeaways?
Yeah, Tarun. My takeaway for today is like not every single time it's not the same approach or the same way you have to think upon. You have to think upon all the possible aspects that could hinder the process, and also you have to think the possibility of happening, and we have to assess the external and internal factors thoroughly so we could arrive at the point accurate so correctly, so we could start digging it down so we could solve the bottleneck.
Sure. Thank you, Balaji. Who's going next?
So my takeaway would be regarding the importance of detailing required. Either we have to approach it on the basis of cost or time or whatever we need. The first thing would be to have the entire details properly mentioned.
Okay.
So that detailing would be the main thing.
Okay. Thank you, Aisha. Who's going next?
Yeah, can I?
Sure, Riddhi, please go ahead.
Yeah, so I mean, what I learned, like my takeaway would be that, you're constantly looking for something new. So maybe throughout the SD, we were talking about, time, but then we came to cost, and then you told us, we can think about environment also. So constantly, there's always something more you want to achieve. There's constantly something you want to improve. I mean, so that's where you come, like, then it's like TOC is like way of leading.
Okay. Thank you, Riddhi. Valid points. Aisha brings in the parameter. She says detailing is important, and you're saying there's always a scope to do something. Yeah. Who's going next?
Yeah, my takeaway is like if you are getting your output, but so where is the point of using TOC, right? So giving a new point of view to that TOC might get into that new optimization and make a new efficient way and can lead to a new innovation. Is my takeaway from this session.
Sure, Anuraj. That's nice and looks like Shafiq loves it. Yeah, who's going next?
I have one question, sir. Arun.
Yeah, I'm listening. Please go ahead.
Yeah, it is the only reason that you improve in your skills in the TOC. It is not about that. You will get to know that you are improving in the TOC, right? What if you stopped while when you improved in the process? Is that cause a problem in our improvement? It will reduce. Am I right?
Good point, Logo. That's what we just discussed. I mean, there's always a opportunity to improve. Now, is the external environment remaining the same or is it changing?
It will be changing.
So what if you don't keep up with that optimization process? Your cost blow up, your cost blow up, your performance might come down. So your system might become obsolete.
Then we have to use the TOC for as long as we can, right?
Yeah, if we use it, we're in the constant process of improvement, right?
Then we don't stop it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So does this mean that TOC makes the minimal of the external parts, right?
Yeah, I mean, exactly. You look at the constraint and you work with that constraint and you try to make the system more efficient. And that's what TOC is, theory of constraints.
So we are not too much dependable on those external things, right?
No, we are, but we are understanding that external constraints and external factors, and we're seeing how it's affecting the system. and we're identifying ways to make the system more efficient.
But how TOC will help in like everyday innovation and constant innovation is there, but what about the creativity? Like how we can connect this TOC with a creative part?
So again, if you look at the creative part, and if you can see the anatomy of the creative part, and if you can bring project management into that creative thing, you can make sure that that creative process is better managed, right? Because even that creative process is like a system where different people are doing different things, and overall you're getting an output, right? So how can you manage that system in a smoother manner so you get a better output? Let's say, you know, you're running a media company and your creative people are producing content, and there's a set of things you're doing, and finally that output is coming out. So how do you manage that entire system? Like when you say UI is also creative.
Yeah.
Worked around it. So, or even backend development is creative, right? You think of the most intelligent way of executing that. So when you talk of knowledge workers, anyone who's a knowledge worker is doing something creative. But I think what you're talking of is those creative processes where the degree of predictability is very low. So there TOC becomes extremely important because you add more buffers there. How you manage your buffers and all of that will become critical. As I told in the town hall, buffers are also a cost, and how you manage your buffers is important. Okay. So I'll have to conclude this in the interest of time, but then it's very nice that all of you brought so many angles into it, and even while we have to conclude, there's still more questions coming in. Hope 2023 will be a lot more efficient year for all the student unicorns, and hope we can implement the TOC. And so we discussed only one tiny aspect, I would say 0.01% of TOC as of now, which is just you're trying to understand what's a bottleneck or what's that constraint. But I would encourage everyone to read, if not the book, I would encourage you to read these novels that Goldratt has written called Goal 2, Isn't It Obvious, Critical Path, 4 novels, at least these are 4 titles I can recall. He's written some novels. So they're just like a story. You can read it like a story, and in every story he has a few principles explained. So it's a very fun way in which he teaches operations management through a novel. So do check out this book Goal by Eliyahu Goldratt. Thank you everyone for joining in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tarun.
Thank you, Tarun.